You got people that come out the woodwork when you building your brand, and they wait for you to get that big old bag, and then they say, "Well, I want to sue that motherfucker for $2-3 million." That motherfucker was rough with me back in 1999. That motherfucker gave me a drink, and I felt kind of woozy. Me and him went in the room. You know what I mean? You gotta make sure that you secure your bag by not making foolish decisions. That's why, I ain't running around fucking all these random ass bitches, because you never know. Them hoes might be trying to give you something or take something from you, man. I ain't going for now one of the situations. Only a young motherfucker think, and not all young motherfuckers. I don't seen some young people start making some better decisions with their money when they get that bag. And, you got a lot of people like LeBron James and shit like that stuck with their high school sweetheart through their whole careers. So they ain't have to chop that money up with baby mamas and court traumas and shit like that. Everybody didn't have to go through that shit, man.
And then he just came sprinting towards me. I mean, not running, sprinting. And I thought, that maybe he was running from someone or after someone.
Man, I'm lit like a candle. Only thing I'm waiting for that motherfucking candle. I'm lit like a motherfucking Roman candle.
He tried to bite me.
I try to, the thing about it is, man,
I'm so scared.
I tell people all the time, man, when I read these stories, I try to make sure every detail is right, but then I tell the story where everybody can comprehend what just happened in that story from the beginning to the end, because a lot of times when these news reporters and these other people, they try to use words, big words that the average person don't comprehend, and then they use words that make people say, that shit boring, man. People look and say the news is boring. I make the news exciting. You know what I mean? I give you that thrill of what really happened, the way they say it happened. If a motherfucker in a high-speed chase, you gotta say, motherfucker was driving down the road and all of a sudden he was busting at the cops, because that's what they said. So you gotta tell them that, man. You gotta tell them. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah. I give it to the way a motherfucker supposed to tell it to you, raw and uncut, man. You know what I mean? And a lot of these people on this internet, they ain't got it in them to be raw and uncut. They think the only way that they gonna, become famous or get snatched by a big boy situation where they get a contract if they be something that they not. And they don't know these folks out here that's giving these contracts out for these podcasts and for people that's content creators and conversation people. They're giving it to people that's unique. Someone that separates themselves from someone else. So when somebody else say, what makes that person different from you? For one, when a motherfucker hear that, man, they know it's me, man. It ain't that motherfucker on this internet they can say man, but they can't say it like me, man. And get to the point like I can get to the point. You know what I mean? And then the thing about me is, I don't sugarcoat none of that bullshit that no motherfucker do. And people always say, you shouldn't shed the light on the thing that black folk do because we got enough people doing that already. I say, if you shed a light on a problem, maybe people will start taking heed to it and dealing with the problem within their own communities, man. Because I remember back in the days when people said that they was OGs or king of their neighborhoods, even if they were drug dealers, even if they was people that was nuttin' ass motherfuckers, they protected their neighborhood. They protected their citizens from the criminals. Because no matter where you go at in life, you're going to have criminals, but you're going to have citizens. And if you have a neighborhood, you're going to make sure that your neighborhood is separated from the citizens and the criminals. You're going to make sure the criminals don't hurt the citizens. You know what I mean? You're going to make sure that when the young motherfucker get out of control, them old heads pull up and say, hey, y'all don't want these problems, man. Because y'all young motherfuckers don't stop robbing the 65-year-old women and don't start bringing the police in our neighborhood. Because people, when I was growing up, people knew that if you brought crime to your neighborhood by shooting this shit, robbing folks, if you became a news topic in your neighborhood, that brought problems. You couldn't get no money. You can't get no money when the police surrounding your neighborhood every day looking for motherfuckers shooting at folks, man. You can't get no money. You know, so when I hear people holler out that they the king of their neighborhood, or they the OG of their neighborhood, and their neighborhood is all Crips, all Bloods, all G's, all Vice Lords, and they say they are motherfuckers that got control of them young motherfuckers, they ain't got control of them. Because you ain't no motherfucking king of your city if you can't stop them fools in the streets from killing folks, man. You ain't no OG of no motherfucking gang if you can't stop your gang members from going out there robbing and killing folks, man. You ain't nobody, man. You just a motherfucker that's willing to take a title that them folk gonna put on a bulletin board, and when they go get about 10, 15 of them young motherfuckers and put them in custody, they gonna send your old ass to the penitentiary for 100,000 years because they know you was the one that came out of prison and recruited them folks. That's what folks don't understand. When you walk out of prison, them folks tell you if you's a gang member, don't go out there trying to recruit motherfuckers. Don't go out there trying to spread what you've been doing in prison in them streets, because you will be back in this motherfucker and we gonna make sure that you gonna sleep and die here, man. But a lot of motherfuckers that ain't anything on this earth but a gang member, nothing but a gang member, nothing else, don't know nothing else but that, man. So them folks feel like that they should come out here in the world and try to build them somebody to admire them, man. Because these young folk that ain't never been to the prison, they don't know that some of them OGs that come out of the penitentiary was punks in the penitentiary. They don't know that some of them OGs that come out of the penitentiary ain't even OGs for real. Them folks didn't even make it to YGs or BGs, man. They didn't know that. They didn't know none of that. They don't know the politics that actually come with being in parts of gangs, man. They don't know the politics. It's politics in that shit, man. And if they ain't never been to the penitentiary, they don't understand that you can play them certain kind of games out here in these streets and motherfuckers gaga and laugh. But in the penitentiary where motherfuckers already got their motherfucking death date and they know they gonna die in prison and they part of a gang, them folk gonna make sure that you be punished for your motherfucking actions in them streets, man. And motherfuckers think that money can save people in prison. I've seen billionaires and millionaires get killed in the penitentiary, man. Money can't save you when you do the wrong thing to the wrong person. I seen a motherfucker come to prison and got money and be part of a gang, and them folks say, "No, man, that motherfucker did something to my little cousin. No, man, that motherfucker did something to my cousin, man. That nigga snitched on the homeboys." And then them niggas go on their SOS and they murder that nigga, man. It's shit that people be sitting back and they be thinking that they got away with doing slick shit to people in this world, and it's he, gaga, and laughing. But you laugh now, cry later when a motherfucker take your life or take your family life, man. That's what these folks don't understand, man. Some folks already got made up in their mind that they understand the consequence of situations, but they got their backup plan up in their mind. If something happened to me, I got a backup plan to make sure that any motherfucker done something to me, you gonna pay for it. You know what I mean? You always gotta have that contingency plan to make sure that when you make it to a certain level in life, you don't never let no motherfucker bring you back down, man. That's the whole point of life, is to grow. If you ain't growing in life, you really just in the fucking way in life, man. You know, and I've been through all type of situations with relationship, with friends, relationship with females, been in a marriage, and you know what I mean? I've been through all that, and it's one thing that I learned about individual human beings, that human beings are human beings, and you never know what the next motherfucker gonna wake up and feel, man. You never know that a motherfucker might wake up tomorrow and say they love you, but wake up tomorrow and turn you into the coppers. Motherfucker might be laying in the bed with you right motherfucking now, working with them folks to send you to the prison system to get you out the way, man. Motherfuckers don't understand that, man. That's why I say it's always best to be admired than be feared. If a motherfucker fear you, they already plotting on a way to eliminate you out of the situation, man. Even though you ain't even in the way. You know what I mean? A lot of motherfuckers eliminate good people out of this world because they jealous of them. Or they can't accept their own fucking consequence of their own actions, and not realizing that you may think that you got away with fucking somebody else's life off, playing with somebody else's emotions. But it's one thing about life. Life gonna punish motherfuckers, man. Life gonna punish you, man. You know, and that's why I say people always scream and they holler. They say, fuck God, fuck this, fuck that, fuck this person, fuck that. But in actuality, I guarantee you when them motherfuckers close their eyes, they pray to God, man. I guarantee you every day that motherfucker that says all that same shit, when they wake up in the morning and open their motherfucking eyes, they say, thank God. For real. Thank God I'm alive and I'm free. That was the first word that come out of my mouth. Before I brush my teeth, or before I take my first shit, before I let my feet hit that ground, the first thing I do when I open my eyes, man, I say, thank God I'm alive and I'm free. Now let's go get this shit. Let's go get this shit. You know what I mean? And that's what people don't understand. I'm like, damn, how everybody ain't caught on to this easy thing that is called life, when the only thing you got to do is wake up. Wake up and go get it. You know what I mean? It's always going to be disappointing situations where a motherfucker ain't going to always win the way they want to win. But if you win in little by little, eventually you're going to win a lot, man. You know, a lot of people be trying to move so fast to get to a certain point in life, and then they fuck up. When sometimes it's best to sit back and plan for a bigger situation to where you don't have to worry about the hiccups and the bullshit. Don't never let no one else in life distract you from what you know you need to be doing. You know, I tell a motherfucker this, man, before you try to marry a person, fall in love with a person, make sure that you build your own bag up before you have children, if it's able to. Make sure that you got enough situation moving around that you don't have to depend on the next person, man. Because people get in relationships and get stuck because they don't know what to do, because they've been getting taken care of by the next motherfucker for the last 10, 15 years. They stopped trying to get an education. They stopped trying to go to work. They stopped trying to make their own money because they were dependent on someone else. And then that's what a lot of females fuck up, because when they depend on the next motherfucker, they accept more from that nothing-ass motherfucker, man. People accept more from a motherfucker that they feel like they take care of them, instead of saying, man, fuck that shit. I can go get that shit on my own, man. I don't gotta sit here and be in misery. Listen to no motherfucker tell me what I can and can't do. Every once in a while, walk around in the same house and act like y'all strangers because y'all mad at each other, man. I'd rather live by myself and have my own environment where I don't never got to worry about the energy changing nowadays, man. I don't never got to worry about someone else's emotions, someone else's life. That's a hard thing for people. People don't understand when you a good man or a good female and you in a relationship with somebody, you try to make sure that person don't have no stress. And that go both ways, you know what I mean? I can't say my marriage was not all bullshit and all good shit, but it was times that when I depended on my wife to have my back, and you know what I mean, she did. You know what I mean? If I needed some money, she got me. If I didn't have no motherfucking credit to get something that I needed, she had me. You know, because I believe any time that you got anything going in life and you got a bigger picture in life, you don't never let a motherfucker come to the table unless they can bring something to the table. Because if a motherfucker coming to the table empty-handed, that means that motherfucker trying to put something in their bag and leave, man. Don't never let a motherfucker put something in their bag that they didn't bring to the motherfucking table and walk away with it and be able to tell somebody that you was a sucker for giving them something and they didn't even care nothing about you, man. You know what I mean? That's why I tell people all the time, man, you ain't gonna never catch me in no strip club throwing no money to no motherfucking hoes for free. I don't believe in going out taking penitentiary chances and then going up in a strip club giving a bitch some money for free. She didn't go out there and duck and dodge the police and go buy the pack and flip the pack and sell the pack and catch bites and catch snaps. It took, and that's what I don't understand about people, man. You take all the chances in the world for the wrong fucking reasons, man. If more motherfuckers took them same chances for their children, they wouldn't be behind on their child support, man. You see more motherfucking dope niggas in the streets that's riding around with scat packs and Hellcats and online with all this money, but them folk don't see their kids, them folk don't cash up their kids no money, but they'll cash up a bitch $200-300 real quick. It's some niggas that'll cash up a bitch $100 just because the bitch said they broke, and they ain't even never met the bitch, but they'll cash out the bitch $100 or $200. But then when they child called talking about, daddy, I need some shoes, you gotta have this long draw that conversation talking about why your mama ain't doing this and why your dad ain't doing that. When you doing what you should do for your children, you never have to ask, why ain't the other person doing it? You don't, because if your child come and ask you for something, that means they want it. You don't gotta say why the fuck somebody else ain't doing it. Why you worried about what them folk doing in their household, man? You know what I mean? You got so many vindictive ass niggas that they'll take the stress out on their children because they more worried about who fucking they bitch now or they ex bitch. She ain't yours no more, man. Let her go. Long as that motherfucker that's in that house ain't abusing your child and ain't taking nothing out your child's life, man, your child is your child. My child, I'm going to take care of my child at any means necessary. You know what I mean? I ain't going to never tell my ex-wife, man, why you ain't doing this? Why? I'm not going to build a hateful relationship with a person that I said I loved and I would have died for. You know, just because we not going to be together no more don't mean I got to hate you. Just because we don't live in the same house or the same state don't mean that I don't respect you. You feel me? Because it's hard for a motherfucker to actually deal with a lot of things that some people got going on in life, and you got to understand that, man. Sometimes when you with a person for so long and y'all going in different directions, you got to let that go. You know what I mean? You got to let it go. You know what I mean? And that's why I say it's too many tender dick ass motherfuckers out here that when a female tell them that, man, I don't want to be with you no more, them motherfucker go kill them. Why? Why? You never know what your blessings was behind that female, man, or that man. You know what I mean? God didn't make one motherfucker for one motherfucker, man. There be people that be married for 10, 15 years and then get divorced and fall back in love and marry their high school sweetheart or the first motherfucker they ever had sex with or the first motherfucker they ever laid their eyes on they loved in their life. You got people that have kids with one person and then them folk don't get along and they move on. And then both of them folks become friends forever and they have different lives. That's what life is supposed to be about, man. Life ain't supposed to be, I'm pulling up in your driveway, we got chaos, we got anger, we need them white folks in our business. You don't need none of that. If everybody doing what they say they gonna do, you shouldn't be no problems. And the main goal when you have a child is to focus on your children. Don't worry about them no more, man. That's not your responsibility. She not your responsibility. He's not your responsibility. You can't get mad that if you stepped out of somebody's life and they found somebody else and they happy, you should be happy. Because you had your chance, you had your opportunity, and it shouldn't be any situations about it, man, because I feel like that it took me a long time for me to realize that for me to actually care about somebody or love somebody, I had to love myself, man. I had to love myself, you feel me? Because I had so much love that I was giving love to every motherfucker around me, and it was draining me. Because I was worried about my daughter that's in Texas, my daughter that's in Florida, my son that's in Alabama, you know what I mean? My mama that's in Tennessee, you know, my dad is in, you know, you get to, when you know that a lot of people in this world love you, you love them same people and you worry about them no matter where the fuck they at, man. You always thinking about them people. You know what I mean? And that's what motivates me to get up every fucking second of every day. Man, I'm online at 3 o'clock in the morning talking to folks. Because it hits you and you know you got to get that shit out, man. You know what I mean? I got so much built up in me that if I don't get this conversation out, it's like a backup, man. You feel me? And I just got to let it go. Because there's a lot of things that people have conversation about in life that they be waiting for somebody or somebody to get them sides. You know when people say, God, give me a sign that I need to leave this motherfucker alone, and then a motherfucker pick up their phone and they going through TikTok and they hear me talking about you got to find yourself before you can love somebody else. Then that motherfucker like, damn, that was the sign God gave me. I listened to this. This was the nigga that dropped out the sky and told me. You know what I mean? Because everybody don't understand that every motherfucker in the world going through the same fucking things as different people, different races. Motherfucker going through poverty. Motherfucker got motherfuckers in jail. Motherfucker got junkies in their family. Motherfucker got prostitutes in their family. Motherfucker got crooked police in their family. Motherfuckers got every problem that you got. But the difference between them and you is you gonna do better. I'm gonna do better, man. You know, I'm one of them motherfuckers that came from nothing. I'm talking about one of them motherfuckers that mom and daddy both was out there on that heroin. I'm 11, 12 years old out there trying to pick up cans. And then I found out what that dope was. Then I started selling dope and I took care of myself and I grinded and I hustled. And I was taught by real motherfuckers. And I know a lot of people say it's wrong, but I was taught the game that you don't hurt your people or hurt nobody. You don't sell nothing that's going to kill nobody. You don't take nothing from nobody. You don't treat no motherfucker like they less than you. And the reason why I wasn't that one of them motherfuckers that treated people less than me, because I always thought if you treat people with respect, motherfucker, you be the last one they tell on, man. I always thought that, but that wasn't true, because I had a motherfucker tell on me, and I was doing everything in the world and showing them love, and that motherfucker still told on me. But it's certain things in life that people tell you that you don't do, man. And a lot of people forgot how to tell their children what not to do. When I was growing up, man, my grandma, I was raised by my grandma. My grandma used to always say, when you walk out this house, you are a picture and you reflect me. So when you walk out this house, your face gonna be washed, your hair gonna be combed, your clothes gonna be creased. Even though the motherfucker might not be brand new, they gonna look creased and they gonna be clean, man. You know what I mean? And that's what people don't understand. Your children are a reflection of who you are. If your son and daughter out there robbing and carjacking at 12, 13 years old, that's the type of shit you put out there for them to know. That's the type of shit that you put out there and them folk thought it was cool and they roll with it, man. They roll with it. If a motherfucker see they daddy out there robbing and shooting at folks, that motherfucker gonna do the same thing, man. If a female sit there and watch her mama make 5, 6 babies and lay up in the project for 20, 30 years, she gonna do the same thing. That's why you see so many, and it be so crazy that these folk be proud of this shit, and they be online, and you have a mama that be like, I had my 16-year-old daughter when I was 16, and now she finna have her baby at 16, and they proud of that shit. They literally proud that they daughter finna have a motherfucking baby at 16. She ain't even went to college. You ain't proud that she graduating. You ain't proud that she don't made the honor roll. You ain't proud that she's a scholar. You ain't proud that her GPS is high, but you proud that she went out there and got fucked and knocked up by some nigga in the project that ain't even got no motherfucking prospects but going to jail. But you proud. You proud. You know what I mean? That's like, man, don't glorify that shit and don't say that it's cool. Y'all out here doing gender reveals in the projects, man. Y'all out here doing gender reveals in the fucking projects. You want your child, so now your 16-year-old child feel a struggle because you can't help her because you still stuck in that motherfucking trap mind where you waiting on a check every motherfucking month, and the only thing you gonna tell your daughter is, now you can go up and get your own project because you got a baby on the way. Bitch, you need to be spit on. For real. For real. For real, man. There's a lot of folks out here that don't even gotta wonder why they daughter got out there fucking grown ass men because that's what they was letting them do, man. Ain't no way that nobody gonna tell me that it's cool for a grown ass man to be out there fucking them little girls like they be doing in them projects, man. And it didn't just start now. It motherfucker, and I remember back in the day when I was going to school, you had them grown ass men that come pick them little girls up from high schools and middle schools, but they mammas knew. I wish a nigga would pull up and tell me, or somebody tell me my child been around a grown ass man. I'm gonna blow his motherfucking ass off with that motherfucking Roman candle, and then I'm gonna go knock on her mammy door and I'm gonna blow her ass off with that Roman candle for letting that shit continue. You know what I mean? It's just certain shit that you just don't let happen, man. You know what I mean? Because one day your children gonna sit back and tell somebody, oh, my mama she should have stopped me. She should have. She should have. Your mama should have stopped that shit even if you was hot in the ass. Your mama supposed to say you going to live with your cousin in Texas or another state because we ain't finna have you having no babies around here when you're a child. That's what people used to make their kids do, man. You know, you always had a girl that popped up with a baby in school and shit like that. That's normal. But nowadays, you got so many grown-ass men that got babies by kids out here, man. Sad. Sad. You got more motherfuckers that call themselves hood motherfuckers on that sex offender registry for statutory rape. You ain't got them to Google them motherfuckers. You know what I mean? You looking at this same motherfucker that ain't even supposed to have an Instagram or have a motherfucking TikTok or YouTube because that motherfucker a sex offender. That shit crazy. You know what I mean? I always tell people that shit starts at home, man. It starts at home. Ain't no question. You got, man, if a motherfucker, I tell you this, man. If you don't teach your children, or if your children see you getting and see you do certain shit, then they gonna mimic that shit, man. If your children go to school every motherfucking day and you land on the couch when they leave and you land on that same couch or sitting on the project, on the porch of the project when they get off the school bus, them folk gonna say, man, why the fuck should I be working hard when this bitch didn't even get up off the couch today? This bitch didn't even go outside. This bitch didn't do nothing. I don't even think that bitch changed her clothes. You feel me? You know what I mean? It's like, man, you remember when people used to go outside and they cared about what they looked like, man. You got so many young motherfuckers, they be walking around barefooted, in pajamas, pants, with a bonnet on, with a dirty ass motherfucking shirt on. You know what I mean? These females, man. Females, they don't, you know what I mean? It's crazy how these folks don't even give a fuck about how they look. And then you be thinking to yourself, I don't give a fuck how many baths you take. I don't give a fuck how many times you wash that ass. I wouldn't fuck you for nothing in the world. It's a lot of these young motherfuckers out here, I wouldn't even touch them motherfuckers. Because I know that they fuck anything and they do anything for nothing, man. For nothing. And the worst motherfucking ones is, I'm going to tell you old ass motherfuckers thing, male and female. Ain't no such thing as an old young nigga. You an old fool. Any old ass nigga that's out here trying to be young, he is a fool. If your bag ain't big, motherfucker, you just a fool. A fool. I can understand if you a billionaire and a millionaire and you want to walk around out here and dress the way you dress, but if you just some dumbass motherfucker that want to wear tight blue jeans and pop motherfucking fake pills because that's what the young folk doing, they gonna find your old ass in a hotel room with a banana in your ass, you fool. For real. And then you got these old, they call them cougars, I call them bitches wolves. These old 40, 50-year-old dusty motherfuckers that wasn't nothing when they were young, all on here talking about, oh, auntie, they love auntie. Don't no motherfucker want no dried up prune when you pull your pants down, your pussy look like a goddamn bucket of chitlins. Don't no young nigga want that, man. Young nigga want some money. You know what I mean? Young nigga don't want no old, dusty, ugly, dusty, plastic surgery ass bitches on the internet talking shit every motherfucking day that ain't got no money. Fuck. That's just like a young girl. Young girl don't want no old ass nigga if he ain't got no money. At least some conversation. A young motherfucker don't want to be led by no old dumb motherfucker because she know at the end that motherfucker gonna have her out there on them streets pimping her, man. You know what I mean? That's just real shit. You know what I mean? Man, ain't no goddamn question about that. Shit. That's real shit. And if you don't comprehend it, I already don't comprehend it. I broke it down and told you. I'm telling you the game plan of life, man. You know what I mean? Build your own bag and you ain't got to worry about no motherfucker ever holding over your head and making you turn tricks. You know what I mean? And if you're young, don't let motherfuckers jump up and down in that cootie cat because they ain't, if you ain't got the money for them folk to sew that motherfucker back together, man, then you don't want to ruin that, man. And stop giving every motherfucker that you meet every hoe, man. Say something for the nigga that you gonna marry, man. That's the thing about these females now. More motherfuckers gotta look at him, and this is the thing about it is you never judge a person by their past. You can't judge a person by their past. But ain't no way that I want to run across a motherfucker that was an OnlyFans slut. Bitch that was online one day talking about she the fly out queen. Meaning that if you had the right amount of money, they flew that bitch out. And now I want to, because when I get with my wife, the one that I say I'm going to be with, I like to be freaky. You know what I mean? There ain't no limits to what you do. But you got to have limits when you know that motherfucker you fucking with don't have every motherfucker ding dong inside their cootie cat. You know what I mean? It ain't, you know what I mean? I don't want everybody else leftovers, man. I don't want to walk in an area and every motherfucker in there looking at me and they like, man, I knocked that bitch down. I cummed on her face. Oh, nigga, I pissed on that bitch. Cause there's some motherfucking females out here that don't happen. You know what I mean? I don't have some females wanting me to piss on them. And I'm like, man, what the fuck? I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna degrade no motherfucker. I might fuck you hard. You know what I mean? But I ain't gonna degrade you. You know what I mean? But you got motherfuckers out here that look for the opportunity to degrade a motherfucker so they can throw it in the next nigga face. There's some niggas out here that go knock a nigga bitch off just to be fucking her, just so he can tell the world he knocked that bitch off because that nigga thought he had something special. He thought he had something special until that nigga dropped that motherfucking tape where that nigga was making that bitch say, Now that nigga found out that bitch ain't special no more, man. Now he found out just cause that bitch made them noises with him, she'll make them noises with somebody else. And motherfuckers don't understand this. Money make you a temporary boyfriend, husband, baby daddy type situation. Because if you ain't got no conversation with that money, I know love behind that, you ain't got nothing. You know what I mean? Because if motherfuckers would go out here and cheat on Holly Berry, a bad bitch, and with a big bag, shit. Nigga sure cheat on a bitch that work at 7-Eleven or McDonald's. You know what I mean? That's the same way with a man. You got females that be fucking with motherfuckers that's $500,000 motherfucking $1 billion folks that NFL and NBA players, but they wives go fuck with some nothing ass motherfucker that's running around in the street calling himself a trapper. Because he got the money, but he got the time. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. When you got a lot of money, you got other things going through your mind than females. So if you in a relationship with a motherfucker, that motherfucker gonna get neglected, but you not trying to really neglect that person because you trying to build your bag. Because when you know that the bag can have a hole in the bottom of that motherfucker, then you always try to fill that motherfucker up like Santa Claus and always keep something going inside that bag, man. You gotta, if it ain't nothing but $1 or $2 a day, some gotta go in that bag at the end of the day to keep that bag growing, man. You got to. You can't always just go jack off everything in the bag and then think you're gonna start all over, because it's harder to start all over than it ever been to try to climb back up, man. And I told myself a long time ago, man, step up out the streets, go to this internet, and get that motherfucking money, man. And that's what I did. You know what I mean? It ain't, motherfuckers say, well, how you go viral? It ain't a such thing as how you go viral. It's about if it's meant for you, it's meant for you, man. You know what I mean? And, you know, can't nobody stop you. And every motherfucker ain't got talent, man. Every motherfucker ain't meant to be rappers. Every motherfucker ain't meant to be content creators. Every motherfucker ain't meant to do certain things in life, but everybody's meant to do something good in life. You just got to find your way. Some people that look at people that work jobs for 40, 50 years, they like, man, I ain't never going to work no 40, 50 years in my life till I'm 50 years old and then be able to enjoy it. If you sit back and think about that same person that worked them 40, 50 years, that person don't save up $1 million motherfucking dollars, a $200,000-$300,000 401k, and now they getting a pension every month that pays all their bills till they die. They got health insurance for the rest of their life. That's what motherfuckers, y'all thinking of the small things like money. If you ain't got something that's gonna protect you, money ain't gonna do shit. Money can't protect you if them folk want to send you to jail if you commit a crime. Money can't save you if you look at Bill Gates. Bill Gates, I mean, what was the dude named? The one that the computer, Apple, the Apple dude. The Apple dude, one of the richest people in the world, and died of cancer. So they let you know it don't matter how much money you got, when your expiration date comes, it's coming, man. So what you need to be doing is building you a bag so you don't have to worry about no motherfucker putting you in a state-run nursing home and them folks don't be wiping your ass and you drooling at the mouth. Make sure that you build money where people will protect you when you can't protect yourself when you get old and gray and might be shitting and throwing up on yourself, man. Treat people with respect. So when you get old and gray, them folk on Steve Jobs, that's his name, Steve Jobs. Yeah. Steve Jobs was one of the richest motherfuckers in the world. Steve Jobs is the reason why I'm sitting there talking to you on a motherfucking iPhone and an iPad right now. Steve Jobs is one of the motherfucking founders of the internet, man. And that man was paying, like they said, he was paying up to $30 million a week to stay alive for one day. He was paying $30 million a week. That man built his own research lab where he went and got his own motherfucking scientists to dissect his blood every fucking day to try to find a cure for the cancer he had, man. But guess what? It couldn't be done. So that's why I tell a person, look, man, plan for your future. And if you got to work hard for that motherfucker, work hard. Because in the end, if you work hard, man, you can be a millionaire and you grinded on that million, man. Motherfucker don't understand that, man. If you go to work, you got some jobs that motherfucker might make $100,000, $150,000 a year. And if you able to put 25 of that to the side, after 10 years, you got $250,000. After 20 years, you got $500,000. You know what I mean? After 40 years, you got $1 million. And that's how them folks thinking. If I can save $250,000, if I can save $25,000 a year, after 40 years, I got $1 million. And I done bumped into some people that actually done that shit. And them folks' house paid for, they get fucking pensions every month. They don't pay nothing but a $300-$400 light bill. So that means when they getting $6,000, $7,000 in checks every month, that money just going to the bank and they can go on cruises when they want to. They can take care of their grandbabies. They can afford to loan their nothing-ass son a little money to keep their house together. You know, they can do all the things. They ain't never got to worry about going back to work at McDonald's at 67 years old, man. That's the craziest thing, man. You know people, I see people every day when I be walking through the world, man, and you see people walking down the street and they look all dusty and dirty and going through something, and you be like, what the fuck happened? And you be thinking yourself, that motherfucker made some bad decisions in life. When I pull up to a McDonald's or a fast food restaurant and I see a 67-year-old man or woman at the window, I'm thinking to myself, man, them folk made some bad mistakes. But I asked a woman one day, I asked this woman at McDonald's, she about 70 years old, working third shift. I asked, I said, man, why you still working? I said, you ain't retired? She said the reason she was still working at McDonald's is because her daughter was a nutting ass meth head, and she had 3 grandbabies to take care of because her daughter was in the penitentiary serving 15 years. I ain't gonna never end up in no situation like that. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna do it. You know, that's why I tell my kids every chance I get, man, if you bring a child in this world, man, be ready to take care of that child, man. You know, because I know I'm one of them. I got a grandbaby, but I'm one of them motherfuckers that I love my grandbaby, and I tell my kids, if you have a child, your child take your spot in my life. I still love you, but I love your child more than I love you now. So that means if you fucking up, I'm going to take my grandbaby and I'm going to raise my grandbaby. Not because you, it's because I want my grandbaby to have a better life than your punk ass going to give them. That's what I tell my kids, you know what I mean? And that don't mean go out there and start fucking and making babies and dropping off at the door, because everybody get one grandbaby drop off. One. You know what I mean? And I got 3 girls and 3 boys. You get one grandbaby drop off. The second one got to go to the mother grandfolks' house. They can't come over here. I'm sorry. I know motherfucker gonna be like, well, why you didn't take, man? I'm only one motherfucker, man. My grandmama raised 16 grandkids and had 3 kids of her own in the house. I salute that woman, man. I salute that woman. You know what I mean? I'll get into all type of arguments with a lot of my cousins that was raised by my grandmama in the same household. And one of them bitches said one day that pissed me off, she was like, you act like she was doing that shit for free. They were giving her checks. Any motherfucker that raised somebody else's motherfucking child need 2 checks, motherfucker. Anybody else that's willing to take somebody else's responsibility on, even though that's their child's child. That's what motherfuckers get the concept fucked up is, just because you my child don't mean I'm supposed to take care of your child. Your responsibility is your responsibilities, man. You know what I mean? Motherfucker, I don't see motherfuckers talking about, it's your grandbaby, you can't watch your grandbaby. That's my grandbaby. I love my grandbaby. I kill a motherfucker about my grandbaby. But you ain't finna drop my grandbaby off so you can still go out there club hopping, motherfucker. If you drop my grandbaby off at this motherfucker 1 too many times, my grandbaby ain't going back with you no more, man. If I come over your house and I see my motherfucking grandbaby living in any kind of situation that I don't feel that's appropriate, I'm taking my grandbaby back to your house. I don't give a fuck if there's daddy right there, if you right there, and y'all got my baby living there, I'm going to smack you with that motherfucking hammer, and I'm going to smack that nigga with that hammer. And I'm going to go on about my business, man. You know what I mean? Because the children shouldn't suffer for the actions of their parents still trying to be young, man. It be motherfuckers that hate their kids because they can't go out and party no more. They hate their kids because they can't go out with their friends because they had babies at young ages. Bitch, didn't no motherfucker tell you to open your legs? Didn't no motherfucker force you to go out there hump and pump and make no motherfucking baby, man. You knew how babies was made. They had sex education. They taught you that if a motherfucker put something inside you and hump too many times, that a baby might come 9 months later, man. You know what I mean? That's for real. So it ain't no mystery. You ain't married. God didn't put a baby in you all of a sudden and don't nobody know whose it is. Every motherfucker in the project knows whose it is. It's that niggas. It's that niggas. Might be his. Might be hers. Man, I'm just keeping it 100, man. Shit's silly. Shit's so silly, it's insane. Oh, but yeah, you got to tune. If you fuck with me, like and subscribe my page. Go to my YouTube, because YouTube is where I be on, because, TikTok on that soft boy shit. You know what I mean? So you can't do what I like to do. I like to smoke. I like to talk shit. I like to get up. And they community guidelines too soft for me. So go to my YouTube, Voice of the Hood. Man, I go live. I put videos up all day. I put up about 40 to 50 videos a day. I go live twice a day. But you got to subscribe to my YouTube. Subscribe to my YouTube and show me that you got love for me, man.